Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for you. So I have a few new things to share. One, we now have show notes for the radio shows. I believe it started in maybe late August of 2021 or early September of 2021, but you can actually go to my webpage, radio shows, and when you click on each one, you'll find the show notes there. They're time-stamped. All the awesomeness is available for you at your fingertips. And if you are listening to this on a podcast, you can go to the show notes on the podcast and it'll take you to those exact notes. Yeah, there we go. That's number one. Number two new thing around here, if you're not in the know, is that the weekly email that I send out has been up-leveled. Let's call it that. So we have, of course, the weekly video that I've been doing for years. We also, of course, will put in the weekly radio show in there. Now we've added, there's a little success story from a client or somebody who's attended a class. In there, there is the clearing that I'm using that week. Now, of course, I use more than one clearing in a week, but just the one that pops for everybody that will be listening. So that's in there. And also what's inspiring me. So something, maybe there's a podcast I listen to, a program, there's so many options it's going to be. So if you are not part of my email list, get your butt on my email list. What are you waiting for? So you can find more on a link somewhere here. You can go to glenycehughes.com and there'll be the opt-in page. Would love to have you with us. Now, number three new thing around here is you can now buy me a coffee. How's it get any better than that? I didn't even know this was a thing. I heard about it recently and I was like, I am excited to receive coffees from all of my listeners around the world. How the heck did I get so lucky? So if you go to the webpage, buymeacoffee.com/, and then it's the acronym for Tools to Create a Better Life. So 𝘮�cie𝘂𝗹𝗱. And you'll find the link somewhere here too for that also. I would so be grateful for a cup of coffee from you. How does it get any more magical than that? All right, here we are. Now, what is the show this week? I've actually wrote down a few notes, so you might see me look at them here. But the show is Tools to Know What Makes You Happy. Yeah. Because that's a big thing for a lot of people. And I actually used to have that too. I don't know what it is. I don't know what would make me happy. I don't know. As soon as I know, then I'll choose it and I'll be happy. Yeah. So a few things. We gotta unpack some of that first, my friends. One, nothing and no one can make you happy. It's actually a choice. So I use that as a title. However, it's really about what makes you joyful, what really creates joy and adds joy to your life. That's the energy we're going to be speaking to. And with that, the very first piece of that you want to look at is that. All the that's. When we don't know what creates joy in our life or what makes us happy, it's probably because we have spent a lot of time in everybody else's universe, which means we are looking more at everybody else around us and what would make them happy, what brings joy to their life. And, you know, at one point I probably would have told you this is more of a woman's thing than a man's thing. But at this point, I've worked with enough men to know this is equal. This is equal. A lot of men do this and a lot of women do this, where we are so much more invested in the other person than ourselves. We see them as more valuable than us, so we start to become more aware of what they would like, what works for them. And then you might get asked even like, hey, where would you like to go for dinner? And you're like, oh, deer in the headlights. I don't know. Where do you want to go? Because you don't even know that. You haven't even taken time to be with you to know what that is. Now, for some people, it doesn't matter where they go for dinner, so that's fine. But I'm really talking about that energy of like, you've lost you. You don't know where you will be. You don't know what makes you happy, but you could give me a list of 100 things of the people that you care about. Yeah, so first off, let's clear all that energy with the clearing statement from Access Consciousness. Everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah, first step is clearing that insanity. And then it's about really, and this is going to be tool number 1, which is, it's kind of a big tool, guys. And it's one that I will tell you right now will change every area of your life if you're willing. Tool number 1 is to actually educate yourself on something called the distractor implants. I know, right? So this is something we talk about in Access Consciousness. We talk about it in the foundation class. So hashtag get your butt to foundation. I've got one coming up. Of course, I've always got one coming up. The next one in this moment anyway is December 27th to December 31st. It's online. It's 4 hours a day, morning in North America, afternoon in Europe. Depending on where you are in Australia, I think somewhere in the middle of the night. Just really depends. And it also, there's a book called Living Beyond Distraction by Gary Douglas and Dane here. So those are the founder and the co-founder of Access Consciousness. And they've got this beautiful book all about it. And we are actually going to do a deep dive starting November 15th. We're going to have 2 calls a week on each chapter. There's 6 chapters. And we're just gonna go there, my friends. So I invite you to join us for that also. Again, you'll find the link somewhere. And if you're listening to this in the future, you can always find it in my store. If you've got any questions, always reach out. But that is tool number 1, is to educate yourself on the distractor implants. Because if you're not familiar with them, chances are, and even sometimes when we are familiar with them, chances are we are operating from them. And so it's you're operating from a distractor implant within your relationship. You will only choose what will create in the relationship. You won't even be aware of what would create more from a much bigger energy. That's what distractor implants do. They are designed to distract us from creating greater. They keep us stuck in an energy and what I call like on a hamster wheel, where you're just stressing about something over and over and over and over and over, but you're not actually doing anything to change it. That's a distractor implant. And once you get a sense of what they are and how to change them, it becomes this totally different space. You'll still be aware of maybe what the other person in the relationship would like. You will still be aware of that, but you won't give yourself up for it if it doesn't work for you. You have so many more choices available once you become aware of the distractions that you're operating from and change them. And so if you would really like to know what makes you happy, honestly, I'm not kidding. That is step number 1. Yes. So all of the distractor implants that you're operating from, to ensure you never know what makes you happy, what contributes joy, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. Because if you never operated from a distractor implant ever again, you would be the infinite being, you'd be infinitely aware of the infinite choices available with the infinite possibilities. Yeah. There's so much that can change. And I have been clearing, I guess. I'm not sure that that's the correct word, but that clearing the distractor implants in my life since 2012. I attended the very first telecall with Gary and Dane back in 2012 about the distractor implants. And I always tell this story in my foundation because it's funny to me. So back in 2012, that was before Zoom. I know, imagine a life before Zoom, but it was on the phone. And so I would phone in on the line that everybody else phoned in on. I would put myself on mute and I would put it on speakerphone and I would literally lay my head on my desk. Not even kidding. I couldn't keep my head up. That is how much I was operating from distractor implants. Every area of my life. Now my favorites, my favorites to play with was the business as a distractor. Oh my gosh, guys, I use that all the time. Relationship was a huge distractor for me. I love to distract myself with, should I leave? Should I go? Should I leave? He's not vibrating at the same level as me. I must leave. He doesn't read the same books as I do. I must leave. I don't want to do the same things he does. I must, oh my gosh. You get the sense. In fact, I have a radio show. I don't even recall what year it's from, but it is called The Time I Almost Left Hubby. We'll put a link to that in the show notes, of course, so that you can go and listen to that one if that reads for you at all. And spoiler alert, it was not just one time. It was maybe, I don't know, 15, 20,000 times a day. Yeah, okay, maybe that's extreme, but you get the idea. It was literally how I was distracting myself from creating greater. Instead of going, okay, this relationship doesn't work, I'm out. And making that choice, or going, oh, this relationship works, I'm in, and making that choice, it was so much more valuable to distract myself. Yes, insane. Hashtag cute, not bright. Yeah, so those were my favorites. The other one was jealousy. Jealousy was a huge energy. We also have a show called The 𝗮𝘵𝘵, so we'll link to that radio show too, and that's all about the jealousy and how I changed it for myself. So those were the ones I played with, and so listening to Gary and Dane on the telecall series it started to unravel. Believe me, I didn't change everything in that telecall series. I still am using the tools to clear the distractions that I'm playing with at times. I'm probably about 1,000,000,000% less at the effect of them, and still there's times. So these are really something that you want to do a deep dive. You really want to educate yourself and study them. So again, join us for the book club, or get the book, or go to Foundation, join us in Foundation, whatever you need to do, but educate yourself, because that will be a huge piece for you in really starting to get a sense of what creates and contributes joy to your life and your living. Yes. All right. So I'm going to check my notes here. Number 2, this is a big one that I see a lot of people do. And honestly, I did the same thing, is we go, okay, I would like to be happier, but I don't know. I don't know what creates more happiness. I don't know what that would be. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know. I'll just sit here and wait until I know. Spoiler alert again. Choice is what will create the awareness. So you won't know until you try something. So what you want to start doing is looking around and going, okay, so let's say you hear about a painting class. All right. Truth, if I choose that painting class today, will it create the future I desire or decay the future I desire? If you get create, go create right now. Go. If you get decay, then it just doesn't mean today. It doesn't mean you could never take a painting class. It's just not today. That's why we specifically ask, truth, if I choose this today, if I choose this right now, will it create the future I desire or decay the future I desire? And that's how you want to ask everything. Now, the thing that usually trips people up with this is that they conclude about things. They go, oh, well, I don't like to paint, so I wouldn't take a painting class. So even though painting classes might be the thing that really lights your entire world up, you have blocked yourself from receiving that. So the clearing that I use all the time on everything, and I suggest people use all the time on everything, all of the decisions, judgments, conclusions, computations, projections, rejections, expectations, separations, refined judgments that I have about that, I destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. So if you want all those fancy words, you can go to the show notes, as I said earlier, and access them. And I assume that I'm using painting because that beautiful piece of art behind me, if you're watching this on video, is something I painted, actually. Yes, and you can buy a copy of it if you like. I've got a whole store with a whole bunch of really inappropriate mugs and such that you can go. The link will be somewhere. If you can't find it, let me know. But I didn't know that I could even paint, let alone that I loved it. It was actually a friend of mine who was doing a lot of painting that really inspired me to try it out. And then recently, I've been playing with Procreate, which is an app on the iPad, and I bought an iPad 8 months ago. I've barely used it. I wasn't even sure in the moment when I was buying it what it was for. It was just, I was just aware it was going to create greater to purchase it. And now it so happens I bought the exact one with all the storage I required to do all this fancy artwork on my iPad. So if you watch the last couple weeks videos, those art pieces in the back, those were from Procreate. I used my video editing and I put the image that I'd created in a frame and I put it here, and it was so much fun to play with, and I've just been loving it. So again, I didn't know until I tried it. The other one I didn't know until I tried it, and this one honestly still shocks me. A year later, well, not quite a year, almost a year later, snowshoeing. I know. I did not know. Now, last year we didn't do any traveling. Normally we would go away in the winter so I could have some pool time and kind of fill up before I had to wait for my pool to open here in the summer here in Canada. And last year we didn't, due to, the travel restrictions and such. So we were here all winter long, and I knew I had to choose something different, because sitting indoors all winter long in Canada, hoping and wishing that summer would come, is not a great use of my creative capacities. So I looked at what was all possible, and the one that read was snowshoeing, which I chose and I love. And once we closed the pool down here a few weeks ago, that was like, ooh, now the snow can come. I'm ready to get my snowshoes out. So please, guys, be willing to try everything, because you don't know what will create joy. You don't know what will add and contribute. You might have some ideas, definitely try those, but also be willing to ask about the things like you have resistance about, like me with snowshoeing, those sorts of things. So everything you haven't been willing to try. Whew. Will you destroy and uncreate at all times? A godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then, of course, the question is, truth, if I choose this right now, will it create the future I desire or decay the future I desire? Again, those will be in the show notes too, guys. All right, so number 3, just so I remember, this is one that I would suggest, if this is a topic that you've really been interested in, you've really been wondering how to have more happiness or joy or create that really yummy, delicious energy that matches those words. Every day, universe, show me what will add joy to my life. Show me what will add laughter to my life. Show me what will add orgasmic energy to my life. Like whatever the word is or whatever matches the energy, ask every day, maybe multiple times a day. Universe, show me. And the other one that I like to ask is body, show me. Universe, show me, body, show me. And you could do universe and body, show me what will contribute joy to our life. The more you ask, the more it will start to show up. And then again, we go back to, you've got to be willing to ask if it's going to create the future desire. If you get a yes, then choose it. Choose it. Get out of the DJCCs, pissers, and RJs, and just choose it. You don't have to choose it 100 times. You can just choose it once. Get a sense. You'll know right away if it's creating the future you desire or not. And that will add so much. I know for myself, like the swimming pool for me is a huge one. Like I never knew how much it would contribute. Prior to having a home that had a swimming pool, we would spend, depending, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 2 weeks, depending on the year, places that had swimming pools. And if you would have asked me then, I probably would have told you that like having it for short periods contributed more, because if I had it for a long period, I probably wouldn't use it as much. Or, I'm not sure what I would have said, but I don't think, I know I did not know the contribution to having a home with a swimming pool. I had no clue until we had it, and what that actually contributed to my life and my living. There's not actually words. And of course there's many other things, but that's the greatest example in my life, along with this whole Procreate thing, this app that's on the iPad, which is like an art app. It has added so much, because it's that energy. It's that energy that I don't have words for, but it's absolute joy and creation and vibrancy and intensity and yumminess and all those energies that actually create your life. It's nurturing for my body, whether I'm in the swimming pool or I'm playing on Procreate or I'm snowshoeing or all the other things that add to my life. Like there's so much nurturing and kindness and expansion in my world with those things. And the more that we can add that energy to our life, the more will be that energy consistently. Whew. Everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all, my sweet friends? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, 𝘄𝑚𝑚, boys and beyonds. Yeah, and of course painting for myself, painting on my face for myself, having so much fun in the makeup room. And now that the pool is closed, I do that way more often, because in the summer, I don't want makeup on, I'm in the pool. So, like there's just so much I could say with this, but really recognizing step one is definitely become aware of the distractor implants so you can stop distracting yourself and start choosing what would be fun for you, and then looking at trying everything and really getting out of the lies and the limitations and the points of views that are probably not yours anyway, that you can't or you shouldn't or you're too old. Oh my gosh, that is a huge one for so many people. So all the lies you've bought or sold that you are too old to have fun, to be joyful. Will you just destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, 𝘄𝑚𝑚, boys and beyonds. And, I'm thinking of there's a meme, like if somebody tells you, you've put too much sugar on your cereal, you should kick them out of your life because you don't need that sort of negativity. I always giggle at those, and it's kind of the same thing. Like if somebody tells you you're too old to wear crazy makeup or to wear certain clothes or to swim in a bikini or to, skydive, whatever it is, if they're telling you that, get them out of your life. Okay, that might be extreme, but you know what I mean. Stop listening to them. Stop listening to them. Please, this is your life. This is for you. And if you're not living your life for you, then chances are you are not listening to this radio show at this point, so I don't need to speak. You would have turned it off much earlier, but truly look at that. Look where you're not living for you, and look at what it would be like if you did. Now, I don't mean in exclusion of. I don't mean you're living for you so everybody else is excluded. I just mean in your life. Would you consider for a moment including you? Whew. Everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, 𝘄𝑚𝑚, boys and beyonds. Include you in your life and your living. Include you in the magic that you create on the planet. Include you in the miracles that you add, that you be. Anything that doesn't allow that, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, 𝗵𝘁, 𝘄𝑚𝑚, boys and beyonds. Oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm so incredibly grateful for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to playing with you somewhere online or maybe somewhere on this beautiful planet soon. Have a great week. I look forward to chatting again next week.